Hello everyone, welcoming you to uh, the first the demo session series where we will be trying to carry out few installation procedures as well as few other sessions on training and softwares. So we will be doing that, and for this session I'll be concentrating on how to install a Linux operating system. Now, I understand everyone prefers mostly Ubuntu, but here I have a purpose why I'm choosing Linux Mint over Ubuntu. Most of the time, we have a Synaptic Manager as well as apt-get for installing packages in Ubuntu. But I can see as the variants are changing from Bionic to Focus, like the next version Ubuntu 20.0, the things are changing a bit, especially for the people who are working in drug discovery, um, bioinformatics, sequence analysis, computational chemistry. Now, that is the reason behind why, after testing Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, CentOS, Fedora, even Red Hat also, I came to a conclusion that Linux Mint could make our life much more easier for a person who wanted to start uh, with the Linux uh, platform. Now, in order to do this session, I will be downloading. You have to go to this website called linuxmint.com and go to downloads, and there you will find three different variants. One is Cinnamon, Mate, and XFCE. These are all depending upon your hardware resource capabilities. If you have a very good, the latest laptops or desktop, I would recommend to go for Cinnamon. Of course, I would recommend only 64-bit, not 32-bit, because most of our tools in computational chemistry, the scaling up is much better for 64-bit, and usage of higher or larger RAM capabilities there in 64-bit operating system. Ensure that you also have a 64-bit supporting CPUs. I'm sure that all the latest CPUs are only 64-bit, not 32. And then coming to Mate, if you do not want to be RAM or CPU hungry from the OS part, Mate is something that preferable, so that it uses minimal resources for the operating system, uh, uh, not having too much of animations on the desktop point of view. And XFC, very minimal on graphics, but you can get all the efficiency as well as the content of uh, the Linux Mint. Now, one more comparison is there when you go for Cinnamon. If you prefer to have something similar to Windows, people are used to use Windows platform like Windows 7, Windows 8, especially Windows 10. So you can go for Cinnamon and Mate. So because in Ubuntu they use a kind of um, Unity, but here it is a modified version of Genome Desktop. So I would prefer to going for Cinnamon or Mate. So today I'll be downloading Cinnamon 64-bit, which will be an ISO file, and then we will be installing it, and I'll be helping you through for the installation. Now there are two things. One, if you're trying to install it in a computer where you already have Windows or Mac, the best option would be that you can have um, this particular tool or software called VirtualBox. So I already have a VirtualBox installed in my Mac, and yeah, you can have a virtual machine installed. It can be in Windows or it can be in Mac, but ensure that you have uh, your machine is at least a dual core with the 4 threading, or and at least um, 6 GB of RAM. 4 GB is okay, but when you're trying to do calculations on this virtual machine, you need to have some dedicated RAM as well as number of CPUs to be assigned. So I would recommend a minimum of 4 thread CPUs and 6 GB RAM for a seamless calculations and playing around with Linux. Anyway, so this is where what we are going to do. So I'm just going to click on Cinnamon. Today I'm going to show you on Cinnamon, and then there are plenty of mirrors that you can click to download. uh, I can always choose the first one preferably. So when I click on it, it is asking to download, and the download has started. I'm not going to continue with the download because I already have downloaded this ISO file already. So I'm just canceling this. So let me directly go to VirtualBox. Now coming to VirtualBox, I'm not sure whether you all are aware of this software. So in order to install VirtualBox, let me do this. Let's go to a VirtualBox website in order to download uh, the software. You can do with any operating systems. So this is maintained by Oracle, and this is completely free of cost. So you can download the VirtualBox 6.1. Ensure after downloading the VirtualBox 6.1, you have to go to downloads. After downloading the one, you have to download also the extensions, which is very important. So here it is, VirtualBox 6.1 for Oracle VM VirtualBox extension pack. So kindly download this pack. I'll show you how to install it. So you can download, if you are using a Windows operating system already in your machine, you have to download this. If you're using a Mac, you can download this version. And if you're using any Linux version, and if you want to put the guest OS as Windows, of course you can use Linux distributions. So of course I have already installed the extension pack here. Now I'm going to VirtualBox. So once you have installed the VirtualBox, in order to install the extension box, I mean the extension, so you can go to the preferences, or if it is in Windows, you will be going to properties or settings. If you go to, there will be something called extensions under settings or preferences, and you click this plus button, that's to add to the new package. So whatever extensions you have downloaded, which will be in your downloads folder or directory, you can load them here. This is very much important to support your graphics drivers and communicate between your virtual machine as well as a host machine. This is very trivial, so I would highly recommend you to do this. So after this, we have to click on new. This is to create a new VirtualBox. You can give any name. Here I'm going to give Linux Mint, and then you can mention where you want to store this. Usually if it is in a Mac, this is how after your username it goes to create a parent directory, and then you have to choose the main which operating system, that is Linux. And as I told you, a Linux Mint is a variant and a developed version from Ubuntu, so you can always choose Ubuntu 64-bit. Now this is where very important. Depending upon your machine memory size, you have to decide what memory size to be dedicated to the VirtualBox. So now you have, in my machine there is 16 GB RAM available. I don't want to give that much, but as I said, it is already giving a limit up to 12 GB. I don't want to give that much. I will try to give something close to 4 GB optimum. And then here at the bottom it is asking, of course I don't have any pre created. If you have already created, and if you want to put it in another machine, just copy paste the virtual hard disk if you have already created. But if you don't have, it's always better to create a virtual hard disk. And I just click next. That's create. So it will be in the same parent folder, Linux Mint, and it will be the extension of VDI. I always recommend with the VirtualBox disk image or VHD, or any one among the first three, but VDI is much more preferred, because later if you want to migrate to a different virtual machine software, it is much easier. There are a lot of scripts available to do conversions. Now you have to set the size of your hard disk also. That again depends upon what amount of free space available in your existing hard disk. So it is showing me 2 TB, but I know that there is only 200 GB left in my hard disk. So I have to be very sure what I'm trying to give. But one advantage is there, which I'll be explaining. So let us give an optimum of 20 GB, and then this is something very important, dynamically allocated or fixed size. If I say fixed size, 20 GB will be completely allocated as in hard disk. So from your physical hard disk, 20 GB will be used. Dynamically allocated means as when you use the the utilization of your physical hard disk also increases. Let's say after installation it's only 4 GB, only 4 GB will be used. It's not 20 GB. So but the maximum limit that we are setting is up to 20.22 GB. Then I click on create. So now the virtual machine has been created. Now we have to do few settings before moving forward. You have to go to settings. After clicking this, you have to go to settings, and this all good, looks good. In the advanced share clipboard, this is where I told you unless you have the extensions installed, you cannot do this sharing the clipboard. I recommend bidirectional. And then these all just default. Going to systems, already I have said we have set 4 GB, and this is all fine. Especially coming to processor, ensure that uh, this is enabled. That is called virtualization. It depends upon your particular uh, CPU, so you have to see whether this is enabled or not. So virtualization is very important. And you, as I said, if you have a threaded 4 CPUs available, you can give up to 2. Don't give anything more than 2. Here I have threaded CPUs up to 8 CPUs, so I am giving up to 2. In your case also, I limit you up to 2. Here I can give up to 4. I do not want, because I have some other calculations already running in my Mac. And the acceleration, I would prefer you to do with the default. Going to display, yeah, this is please keep it minimal. Let us see how the things are going up, and how your machines are working up, and then you can slowly increase it, not too much. Minimum is 16 MB required. You can increase it, and don't change any monitor count. And the controller, this is what is recommended. It will automatically pick up based upon what is there in your graphics driver. Coming here, this is what we wanted to do. So this is the hard disk that we have created. Maximum is 20 GB. Now coming to the IDE control, because we need that ISO file to be attached in order to install it. So we just click on empty and click on this disk, and then choose a virtual optical disk file, and then it goes to your downloads, and then you can choose them as for whatever files here. So it is ISO, so I want to choose only ISO. So here it is. It's under Linux. This is here. So it's already 1.9 GB. Now the second time when you try to open it, automatically this will be listed here, as you have already noticed. Anyway, I'm just clicking OK. Before going okay, let me go through the others. If you want audio to be transmitted, that can be done. Network, if it is NAT, it exactly bridge between, I mean not bridge, it tries to make a network between your host machine. But if you say bridged adapter, you can assign a separate IP address for this virtual machine directly to your Wi-Fi or LAN connectivity. So it will get a dedicated IP address. Of course, there are a few settings to be done, but NAT is something that is recommended if you do not want to access this virtual machine outside of your host machine. Ports, I think if you go to USB, if you want to include some of the USBs, you can do that. I have a pen drive that is being attached. You can do that. General mouse. I have a USB, a Logitech a wireless mouse is being used. You can use that. So you can choose which one to be included. Shared folder. Now we cannot set this. Once it is installed, we have to install guest extensions, and then shared folders are possible. And that's all. Now let's start then. So clicking Linux Mint, you just click on start. Now you will see a new window will be coming up. Now this is the problem here. You can see this is because of the resolution. So you can always change the resolution on going further, playing around scalability. So I'll just show you, let it boot it. Now it is going to the live session. So what it is trying to do is, there was a live option in Linux Mint. It automatically boots into the operating system, and after logging in you can always do the installation. This is what you see now. So I can always install the Linux Mint now. So let me see whether I can change the particular scaled output. So if I make it 200 scaled, you can see it is increasing, but don't worry, in your machine it will be much better, because here I'm using a very high resolution, 190 1920 into 1400 resolution, so that's the reason why. Anyway, so you can see internet is already connected, audio is already, and being it's in my battery, of course it's already charged. So let me install it. So first you have to click on install Linux. But before that, let me show you one more thing. Uh, as I told you, this is something looks like Windows. So as you can see here, and if you wanted to um, see what is the system has taken from the details that we have given. So system info, if I go, that's what I was searching for. You can see there is the physical IAM core is being identified, but only 2 cores are taken, and I have given almost close to 4 GB of RAM. So this is what it is already identified. Now let's start with the installation. I double click on this. So it's first asking what is the language. Of course you can choose a language, and then you have to choose your keyboard layout. Very important. If someone is using any specific country, you have to make your changes here, otherwise you can just go by default US. Of course I'm using a US layout. Then yes, this is very important. If you're having a NVIDIA graphics card, or if you're using any Wi-Fi dongle, or some attachments apart from the standard drivers, I would recommend you to install third-party software. But for this, you need to have connected to be in internet. Otherwise, you can just disable it. And click on continue. So it is trying to now search the possible regional settings and others. Now it is asking you how to do installation. Erase and install Mint, whether you have to get encrypted, whether volume manager should be taken care, or if you think you wanted to do yourself, if you're an expert user, of course you can set the partitions, like you can create a new one, and then you will say what is the swap, what should be in the root, what should be in the boot, what should be in the home directory, or even in the temp directory. So those things can be done, but for an expert user. But otherwise, the easiest way is, I would recommend, let the software do it automatically. Erase disk and install Linux Mint, and just click on the to continue the particular installation. So it's already saying that it has taken a partition of the hard disk that is being already assigned. So I just gave next, and now it will try to analyze what is available, the space available, and then they try to ask you what is the time zone. Of course I have chosen Kolkata, and then you can give the name whatever preferred. Ensure that you don't give any space. That is very, very important. So if my full name is Girinath Pillai, but I don't want to give Girinath space Pillai, so it's recommended not to give any space. And then computer name, ensure that you don't give again a space here. So I just give Linux Mint VM. And if you want to pick a username, again, don't give any uh, a space or capital letters. Try to use all small letters. It is easy. You will understand when you're trying to do SSH or remote access. Don't give any capital letters. You just use lowercase small letters. Anyway, so I just give, and you can give any password, whatever you prefer. So it automatically tells it's a very wrong or fair password, and then continue. And now it starts copying. um, in the meanwhile, let me try to increase the scaling to a little bit more larger. I think now it's good, but still, yeah. So it's in a scaled mode, and you can see that the installation is taking place. It will take some time depending upon what you have already given. So the copying of the files are being done, but let it go. Now, in the meanwhile, I wanted to show you so that at least I need not to repeat this later. So after going, as I was telling you, there will be package manager, as well as there will be synaptic manager. I mean the software manager also. So let me take you there. So here you have software manager, software resources, and package manager. So let me go to the synaptic package manager. Let the installation go. I'm just minimizing the installation so that I can concentrate much more here. So this is very much advantage when you're working on drug discovery or computational chemistry or computational biology. Let me show you some examples. In the search, I'm just giving GROMACS, which is widely used for molecular dynamics, and I just give search, and you will be wondering that all the libraries and all the data will be here, and they are using 2018 version of GROMACS, and the GROMACS data, and also the parallelization is also included. So if I just click on this, automatically the software will ask mark for installation. When I mark for installation, it will also tell you that these other dependencies are also required. Very easy for a no voice person. And if you're trying to install this is in a normal machine where it is not a VM, but you want to use more number of CPUs for your calculations, like parallel calculations, of course you can choose open MPI, and then it will also install other supporting libraries, whatever it is required. So you are not doing any manual download or compiling. The software package manager takes care of everything. Okay, that's all about GROMACS. Now let's come to the next one, NWChem. NWChem is a very famous open source software available for quantum chemistry. So let me search for NWChem. Now you can see NWChem is also there, and it is a 6.6 version. So you can do all DFT calculations, and also quantum chemistry calculations can be performed here. Whatever required, like libblast is required for parallelization, so those libraries also will be taken. So you just click on mark, automatically the softwares will be installed. I'll tell you what you do when you click on what the calculations, actually the installation happens. Sorry, let's see what happened with our installation. It's still progressing. Anyway, so the next one is, everyone is fond of AutoDock. So let me search AutoDock. So I just searched, ensure that you have internet. Oh yeah, the AutoDock is coming here. So you have AutoDock 4.2 version and AutoDock VNA 1.1 version, and AutoDock tools. AutoDock tools, hope you everyone know, that is a MGL tools which has a GUI access to AutoDock. So if you click on AutoDock, it will try to mark for installation with other supporting libraries, and now I am saying AutoDock tools. Of course, Python is also required there, so as I expected, they're trying to install Python, TCL, even Babel for conversions of file formats like PDB to PDBQT, all those things. Now if you want to do a virtual screening, of course AutoDock VNA helps for that, so you can mark for installation for AutoDock VNA. Of course, libboost program from Python is also required. So when you click on it, you will get an explanation at the bottom as you can see here, and also references. Now let's see. I know you're wondering what about AutoGrid. Of course it is also there. You can click on AutoGrid and search. You will also get AutoGrid. So here it is, and you get all the possible tools available. Now there's one more program when you're going for what to say, quantum chemistry, that is called PSI4. So when you search for PSI4, PSI4 is also there in the package manager. So this is also again for quantum chemistry. It's an ab initio quantum chemistry program that is designed to accurately compute properties. Of course, you can do restricted Hartree-Fock, then density cumulant functional theory, MP2, CCSD, and many more. And then I'm not sure whether Orca is here because it's I don't think, but let me try. So Orca is also another quantum chemistry package. Yeah, it's not there anyway. Now we can also search for a few others, maybe NAMD. I think you have to download it from the respective website. NAMD, yeah, you don't have NAMD, but I'm sure you have other visualizers. Let's see PyMol. Of course, you do have PyMol in the package manager. So yeah, here it is. You have PyMol, and all the supporting libraries will be automatically installed. Free glut is something very important when you're going for something 3D based visualizers. And then if you want to go for GabEdit, I'm sure many of you know who are working on Mopac, Gaussian, Turbomol, NWChem, Gamas, Abinet, all those things. So GabEdit is also being there. These are the visualizers. Now if someone is working on WASP software, the the ab initio software, so you have P4 WASP GUI, and that is also available here in the package manager. So similarly, if you want to add Jupyter Notebook, they are also available, but that I'll be taking a different session because the way it to be taken, the installation is done a bit different. So when I'm doing P4 WASP, of course it is taking care of everything. Yeah, now the installation is done. That's why the software is prompting me. Installation is finished. You can continue testing Linux Mint now, but until you restart the computer, any changes that you make, documents will not be preserved. So ensure that you don't do these installations, everything during this live Mint condition, but you have to do after restart. Anyway, let me do the continue the testing so that we will finish this. Similarly, you have many more others available, like yeah, so there are other GUIs available like Avogadro, then Chimera, then VMD. These are all there. So but I would recommend VMD, Chimera, everything that you have to download it from the respective websites, and then the compilation is very easy. So but yeah, Avogadro is here anyway, so you need not to do that as a separate installation. Let me try for homology modeling modeler. Let me see where the modeler is available here. The people who are doing more on what to say, I don't see modeler now. And let us try Amber Tools. I hope you all know that Amber Tools is now free. Of course, PMEMD you have to pay for it, but let me see whether Amber Tools is available or not. No packages are available for Amber. Now if you want to, after exploring all this, if you think that you wanted to explore the sections, so you can click on sections, and if you go to the scientific part, it is called science, it will be there. Let me scroll down. Yep, it was there, I just missed it. Yeah, so like universal, so you can see ab init is there. Hope people who are working on solid state ab initio, you know, you are aware of about ab init. And then let me see if other tools are available. There are a few more bioinformatics tools like JMBoss. These are available, but I'm searching for a few others. Let me try. I can see there are many got added up, and whatever we have selected automatically they highlight it here. So that is also good. Oh yeah, the next one is OpenBabel. OpenBabel is also available from this package manager. You can see BioPerl, then Blast. These are the tools, favorite tools of bioinformatics and computational biology. So these tools are also already being embedded in these package managers. So this is the main reason why I prefer Linux Mint for the people who are working in bioinformatics. So you have ChemTool, also in the area of computational chemistry, drug discovery, and cheminformatics. You have ClustalW. So the thing is, let me be very cautious here. Uh, of course, we have a lot many tools here. Please don't install everything. Try to install what understand. Even CP2K is also available. Very good software for ab initio molecular dynamics. So CP2K is also available. Please install only the software which is really required for you at the time when you're trying to install it. Please do not install everything because that will take too much of space. Unnecessary libraries will be there, so there might be conflict between the you have Embosia, the European Molecular Biology Open Software Suite. Then unnecessary conflicts between the libraries could happen. Of course, it takes care of it, but still to be safer than sorry. So FASTA is there. So there are many programs available. As I was telling you, this is the main reason why I prefer Linux Mint over Ubuntu. Now let me tell you, in Ubuntu also this is possible. I never say it is not possible, but for a beginner this is something really a blessing, because and lucky also, because you get everything on by seeing it, and just by clicking it automatically install all the libraries that is required. You need not to do any sourcing, no dependencies need to be covered, so it's automatically taken care. So that is the benefit here. So this is the biggest advantage for a beginner who still wanted to play around with GROMACS. Of course, one of my favorite tool for molecular dynamics, as well as Amber tools is also one of my favorite. Yeah, this is something that I missed. MOPAC, which is one of the famous tool for semi-empirical calculations. If you wanted to predict heater formation, this can be software can do with AM1, PM3 parameterizations. So that is also coming along with here. Of course, if you want to go for latest version, you have to go to openmopac.net, where you get a MOPAC 2016. Even parallelization version and GPU versions are also available for Linux. You can see here NCBI Blast, Legacies, and Direct available. So like that, many of them, many tools are available. Now you understand why the importance of Linux Mint when compared to the others. There are the other operating systems also, but this, as I told you very clearly, repeatedly, this is something user friendly for people who have no voice to but wanted to start with doing their scientific analysis, knowing that they do not want to spend too much time on learning Linux. Of course, this is where I started my drug discovery and bioinformatics what to say journey with the Rasmol tool. That's the first tool that I tried to visualize the protein, of course. And then if someone is working on this particularly Cheminformatics, of course RDKit will be very helpful. So you have the 2016 version of RDKit available in this particular package manager. So there are plenty of them. I'm not going to do everything here. So we have more sessions coming, and so during that time we will discuss. Now, how to install it. Once all is this done, you have to click on apply. So whatever you have selected, that will be coming. Now could not apply changes fixed to broken first, because you cannot install because you are in a live mode. So once we have completed restarted the machine, of course you can do the installation, everything. So now I'm just closing this. So I'm just discarding whatever I have selected. As I told you, this was just a demo. Now you also have software sources. That is something similar what you usually see in Ubuntu. Sorry, software sources is something that you have to add the repositories. So yeah, software manager, sorry, software manager. So this is something that you exactly see what you see in Ubuntu. So you can search. Of course, here also you get AutoDock. Here also you get some softwares which is available. Not all of them, and the dependencies are also taken care automatically. So here also you have the softwares available. Okay, so this is another option that if you, of course, Flatpak, another advantage. There are few tools which works only on Flatpak. This is another repository for softwares. So Flatpak is also supported here. So there are many other tools that can be used here. So I'm not going deeper into it. Now another advantage is that if you have, as I told you, if you have any uh, graphics card, like let's say NVIDIA graphics card for some GPU or CUDA calculations, this automatically tries to take the proprietary software, and it also gives you an option which one to be used. So that is a very good advantage. Of course, in Ubuntu also there, but there was glitches in earlier versions of Ubuntu. But I saw that from 19 and Ubuntu 20, they also still come up with. Uh, this is again my internet issue. As I told you, it is waiting for to restart. So then only it will be done. I'll be anyway after restarting. I'll be showing you again. So now the installation is done. Let me now restart it. So I'm just restarting it. Okay. So the machine is the virtual machine is getting restarted. Please remove the installation media from this end. So for that, what you have to do is let me do and okay. So yeah, I think something happened. Let me shut, close it. I mean, power off. Usually this happens in Mac, so you can power it off, then go to settings, and then go to storage, and you can empty this. Yeah, it's already taken off. So and then you can start. So now it should boot in the Linux Mint, as you can see. So you have to wait. Being it's a first boot, it takes a little more time because it will be identifying all the drivers, hardware available. Yep. So here it is. So it is asking for the password. So don't forget the password that you have given. And here it goes. So now check for your video drivers. Automatically it came. So launch the driver manager. It will ask for authentication. Um, so this is something that failed last time. So the same thing it does, it is updating the cache, and you should be connected to internet, and if they are able to get all the resources from internet, they will show up. If there is any graphics driver to be changed, it's your choice. Before making any changes, try to do some search and then only do. So here there is no proprietary drivers are in use already. All the drivers taken is much okay, so they are fine. Now you can also go to first steps if you want to change drivers. If you want to do update, I always recommend to make it updated. And if you want to change the how the desktop looks like, you can change them. System settings and firewall. Firewall is good to set, but it depends on what software you are trying to use. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to tell you is now about installing the guest parameters, like which I was telling you earlier. So let me try to take it off from yeah. So insert guest edition CD image. So I'm just inserting the guest edition CD image after keeping your Mint live open, and then you can run it. So, and then authorize it. So the guest editions getting installed. After this, the graphics, your resolution, everything should get fixed. So the first and foremost important thing is that you have to install these guest editions so that all your drivers, everything will be identified properly. Yep, so it is installing. Let's see how far it goes. And then we have to do one more restart to ensure that all the settings are good enough. It's trying to update. Yeah, now you can see the video, the resolution has completely changed automatically, um, and we were able to get a full screen now. Once I restart, there'll be much better resolution. So now I'm just going to restart it again. Then you will be good to go. Yeah, it takes some time. You have to wait. So please leave your comments if you have any queries or such. I'll be happy to respond to you. And the procedure is pretty much same if you're doing even for not a virtual machine but directly to the physical machine, apart from the initial trying of ISO file. But for the physical machine, you have to convert your ISO file to a bootable USB. Try to use Rufus software, which will help you to convert your ISO file to a bootable USB, and then try to boot it from your USB. You can install Linux Mint along with the other Windows operating system. So that's how the things are. So once it is installed, of course you can still again access the Synaptic Package Manager. I'll try to show you a very simple one to show you how it's getting installed. I'm not going to choose everything because again it takes time. It has to download and install. So I'll just show you for AutoGrid, which is very simple. I mean, it doesn't take much time. So I just choose AutoDock and AutoGrid, so that okay, and now I just click on apply. Now it should it's asking that it's informing you that these are the software that will be installed and these are the other tools which will be not installed, and it will be showing you how many space required, what will be downloaded, and then you can click on apply, ensure that you have internet connectivity, and that's it. It's getting installed now. So once it's installed, you can open a terminal and you can start utilizing it. So changes have already been applied. I just close this, yeah, and then open a terminal. So here you have everything. So if you want to see how many number of CPU, it is a LS CPU. You can see there are two uh, processors that I have dedicated, and then I can also look at how what are the drivers of graphics and Ethernet. Everything is taken. You can see if you want to know more. Otherwise, just leave it. Now, in order to start AutoDock, you just type auto. You can see AutoDock is already installed. Of course, you need to have your input file. You need to mention your parameter file, that is your input, and also the log file in order to carry out calculation. We will do a different session on how to perform AutoDock and AutoGrid. So this is something pretty much very simple and very easy. Only thing you need to have internet and Linux Mint got installed. So thank you so much for watching, and that's all for today. And I'll come up with another session in the coming week. Thank you so much.